Graduation is supposed to blur differences. Caps the same color. Gowns the same shape. Two names read back to back like punctuation marks. My twin and I stood side by side while our parents took photos. She leaned in easily, practiced. I stood a half step apart, the way I always had, close enough to be included, far enough to be measured. At the party, my parents made a show of it. They handed my sister a small box with a key inside. A real key. There were cheers, laughter, the kind of applause that lands cleanly because it matches what everyone already believes. Someone said, "Of course," like it explained the universe. Then they turned to me and held out a lottery ticket. My dad laughed first to cue the room. "For motivation," he said. "You never know." I smiled because I knew the script. I took the ticket because refusing it would have made things awkward, and I'd spent years learning how to keep the room comfortable. The ticket went into my wallet and stayed there. Days passed. Then weeks. The house key made the rounds, photos, plans, paint colors. I watched from a distance that felt familiar. One night, doing laundry, I found the ticket folded into the seam of my wallet. I almost threw it out. Instead, I checked the numbers on my phone while the dryer hummed. The world didn't tilt. It narrowed. I checked again. Then a third time. The amount sat there, impersonal and exact. Too large to feel real. Too real to dismiss. I didn't tell anyone. I made calls instead. Accountants, lawyers, people whose questions were boring in the best way. We talked about structures and timing and silence. We talked about how money moves when you don't announce it like a miracle. Months later, at a family dinner that wasn't about anything in particular, I finally said it. "I won the lottery," I said, the way you might say you changed jobs. "A while ago." Forks paused. Someone laughed reflexively, waiting for the punchline. "I didn't want to rush it," I added. "I wanted to set things up correctly." My parents leaned forward at the same time. The symmetry would have been funny if it hadn't been so predictable. "How much?" my mother asked. I told them. The room didn't explode. It froze. Smiles stalled mid-curve. The air thickened with calculation. My sister's house, her house, suddenly felt like context instead of conclusion. Congratulations arrived in uneven waves. So did questions, suggestions, jokes about keeping it in the family. The word we showed up everywhere, heavy and assumptive. I waited until the noise thinned. "I'm not sharing this," I said calmly, not defensively. "And I'm not explaining that decision. I wanted you to know because secrets like this rot. But my life is mine." Silence landed hard this time. My dad cleared his throat. My mother said my name like it was a bridge back to familiar ground. "You don't mean that," she said. "Family?" "I do," I said. "And I love you." Both can be true. They tried again later in smaller conversations. Softer angles. Nostalgia. Comparisons dressed as concern. I listened without interrupting, then repeated myself without adding anything new. Money didn't change the pattern. It revealed it. Requests came disguised as advice. Advice came disguised as entitlement. I declined with the same tone every time, polite, brief, final. I funded causes that had nothing to do with my last name. I bought time. I bought quiet. The hardest part wasn't saying no. It was letting go of the fantasy that fairness would arrive on its own once the numbers flipped. Favoritism doesn't dissolve when the ledger changes. It adapts. I still show up to birthdays. I still bring a gift. I still sit at the table without performing gratitude for being allowed there. The distance between my sister and me is no longer a competition. It's a boundary. Sometimes I think about the ticket itself. How small it was. How easy it would have been to miss. How often my life has hinged on things handed to me as jokes. I didn't win because I was favored. I won because chance doesn't recognize hierarchies, and because I chose afterward to live like my worth wasn't up for negotiation. They froze when I said it. I didn't.